Hello guys, my name's Kareen. I'm trying something new with my hair. It's a work in progress, okay? Anyways, but this video is about why I'm 100% okay with getting rejected from UChicago. So I applied to UChicago. I recently just submitted everything, and now I just get to wait, luckily only until about December 17th, so for about a month, so it's not that bad. It could be longer and worse, but here's why I'm okay with getting rejected. Oh, and then as a side note, this video might have comments, it might not. If it has comments, leave me a comment saying, hey, comments, you have comments, and if it doesn't, then sorry about that. There's not much I can do. But anyways, I'm okay with getting rejected from UChicago, rejected from UChicago because I think my application was a really great application. I really liked my supplemental essay. I thought it was funny. I thought it definitely showcased my personality, and hopefully it'll give the admissions officer a laugh because I found it funny, and I'm a little bit picky about what I find funny. My Why UChicago essay could have been way more specific, but also, like I said in another video, I'm struggling with finding really specific things about UChicago, which, shouldn't be that big of a problem, but it is, and I also haven't visited, which, if you haven't visited a school and you're trying to write about all the special, unique things that make that school different from all the other schools, as I found out, it's kind of a nightmare. So that essay could have been better. I did it in a unique format, and hopefully they'll appreciate that. So it wasn't super specific, but I think it was good. It definitely could have been better, but I think it was good. And then hopefully my LORs, my letter of recs, are good. I also got a supplemental letter of rec from a person in our community who's at the top of it. So at the top of the school. Oh my gosh, why am I trying to be all skirting around the edges? I worked with our school superintendent, so I got a supplemental letter of recommendation from her. And so I put that in my portfolio, so hopefully they'll read it. That's what I called and asked, and that's what they told me to do. Sorry, I'm touching my face so much. I do this when I get nervous. Anyways, and so I think one great essay, one fairly good essay, hopefully good to okay teacher recs, and then a supplemental letter of rec that I've read and I know is really good in my opinion. And then I also submitted a nature photography portfolio, and I'm not normally one to toot my own horn, and I just as a general rule think everything I do is terrible. But after putting together my portfolio, I'm really proud of it, and I think it's really good and truly does show off my best photography work, or at least most of it, so that makes me so happy. And my artist statement only half sounds like something that a crazy person wrote at nearing midnight, which is what happened. I literally wrote it in 20 minutes, so fingers crossed on that one. But yeah, so I have a really epic portfolio, I think a really good application, and after I was reading through my essays, I was like, you know what, if they read through this and they look at my photos, or they send them off to a professor to evaluate them, and they decide, no, she doesn't belong in our school, her test scores aren't good enough, her GPA isn't good enough, her excuses as to why her GPA is lower than it should be aren't good enough, and they decide to reject me, that's not on me, that's on them. If I were them, I wouldn't do that because I think that I'm a good candidate, especially for their school. But yeah, and then the final reason that sounds even more pretentious than everything else I already said is that there's another school that's fairly similar, not actually similar, but it has a similar vibe to Chicago that I'm expecting to get into because the admissions officer really likes me and I did a program with them. So there's that, and they're very similar vibes, and I visited there and I loved it, and I can't really afford to go there, but then again, can I really afford to go anywhere? That's a question for another time. But yeah, so there's another school that's kind of similar in vibe that I think slash hope slash don't want to be too certain because if I'm wrong I'll be sad, that I'll get into. But yeah, honestly, after reading through my application, if UChicago, I'm sorry, UChicago is just the lowest acceptance rate school that I'm applying to this round, and I think it maybe is in total. It depends on Johns Hopkins, Dartmouth is like, no, Dartmouth is pretty close. Like they're 10% on Google, but they were less than 10% last year. They were like 7.8%. So yeah, but I'm just nervous, crossing my fingers. I'd love to get in, but if I don't, oh well, it's not, I didn't apply ED there. It's not, as far as I know, it's not my dream school. Maybe it is. I haven't visited, but if I don't get in, I'll be alright. And part of this video really is for future me when I get if I inevitably get rejected, but hey, me, you're gonna be fine, alright?